some grass down and dig some banana beds that I've been wanting to plant by my lake. So let's get with it. Okay, the reason why I till under is to go ahead and break the crust of the topsoil and chew up the grass so I could get in there and dig it out easier. I'm going to go from this side around to that side. Let me position the camera. Okay, I think that's got a pretty good view. Let me get with it. Okay, that's looking good. Let's go ahead and take a little look, see what it looks like. Okay, on the back side of the pond, on the front side of the pond, as you can see, I got banana plants. On this side, I'm going around like this, all the way around over there, and these are going to be banana plants. I'm leaving a grass buffer like that. That way there's no washout going around. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get some more PVC pipes and space out the banana plant where I'm going to plant. Okay. Okay, using a PVC pipe that I previously marked, 9 foot. I'm going to space them out 9 feet apart, 8 or 9, probably 9. We'll see how they fit. And I'm going to mark the spots. Okay, sometimes I get lucky and it works out evenly. As in this case, check it out. Starting right here with the first banana plant, it's in line with my other, and it follows the contour of the pond. And as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of them going around fit evenly, which I'm really happy about. They should look pretty good coming around this back stretch of the pond, and they'll be happy drinking the water. And this one here, so this here is even. I try to do things pretty good. This one's even in the back stretch, where eventually I'll have more. And from here over to where my tractor is, I actually got room for one more if I so desire. Okay, here comes that Florida sun. It's going to heat up quick. So I'm going to stake and pound them in so they don't move. Whew, okay, let me show you what these are going to look like. I got to go down a little deeper, but the reason why I'm doing these right now is because my Hugelkultur banana beds that I'm prepping, we had a lot of rain and they filled up with water. The water went down some, but not 100%. So I'm tackling this area because these are not going to have logs in the bottom. These are just going to have chips in the bottom, doing it a little bit different around the lake because there's a constant supply of water around the lake. So this is what I'm doing. Okay, so as you can see, I'm on my pond, and right over here down in that hole is my soil. I went ahead and took out soil, which is Florida's sandy soil. So I really don't want to plant directly in the sandy soil, although it's good for banana plants because they like wet but drainage in their soil, but it doesn't have the nutrients that I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig a little bit deeper, And then I'm going to go ahead and put maybe about a foot of fresh chips down there. And then I'm going to put horse manure all the way up to the top of that hole. And I'm going to be planting in horse manure. And then I'm going to utilize this dirt and make a little mound all the way around it. Because eventually, this from the Mexican sunflower to here, it's going to be a little slope. But it's going to be about a foot higher than it is right now. So with that said, let me go ahead and continue. You can see some water is leaching in right now because that's the water table right there. So let me go ahead and dig a little bit more. Okay, in order for me to go a little deeper, it's harder with the shovel, so I'm going to use the post hole digger over here. Let me go get my gloves. Okay, for those of you that are not familiar with a post hole digger, if you use it without gloves, you're probably going to get a blister on your hand right away because of doing this. So I'm wearing gloves. Okay, so I went down deeper. This is what the hole looks like right now. You can see some water leaching in. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and put compost in there now, chips, to where the sand begins. See the black? I'm going to come up from the black to where the sand begins, and the rest of it's going to be horse manure. Okay, now the horse manure is going to come to the top, but it's going to be about a foot higher. So instead of me going down another foot, I'm going to use the raised bed and make it a foot higher. So that compensates for it. So with that said, let me go ahead and use my tractor and go over there and get some nice chips to put down in there. Okay, got a bucket of mulch. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in the hole over here. And you can see water from the pond is already leaching in. Okay, so what that's going to do, it's going to go ahead and soak into these chips and retain moisture. And the plant corm is going to be up high, but the roots will go down into the chips, into the manure, into the chips, and suck up that water as needed, because the pond is not always at this level. Sometimes it's down lower, so the water table is not always like that. But in either case, banana plants are like 90-something% water, so you got to always give them plenty of water. I built this pond specifically to plant tropical banana plants all the way around it, so they'll have a nice, happy, and comfortable lifespan. So with that said, let me start mulching. Okay, as you can see, I put in a bunch of chips. If you looked at the previous part of this video, I'm up to the sand, and everything that was black is filled up to the sand, sandy soil. That's about a foot, maybe a little bit more than a foot of chips in there. Now from there all the way to the top, you can see how high that is. It's up to my knees over here. So that's all going to be composted horse manure. And I'm going to come up about another foot on top of that of horse manure. So that's going to be roughly about 3 feet of horse manure. And I think that should be a really good combination because I already tested it down there on my other banana plants, and they seem to be living a good life and they're nice and healthy. So I'm just duplicating what works. Okay, I'm back with some nice horse manure. Horse manure, a little bit of sand, composted, it's aged. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in this hole. Okay, so this is a yard bucket. So there's just about a yard of horse manure compost going into this hole. Okay, since I want to come up another foot, I have to go get some more manure. Okay, I'm back with another load of manure. So probably in this hole will be about 1.5 yards, or 1.25 yards, something like that. Okay, skip that. 2 yards. I don't care how much goes in, as long as it's full. Okay, so I got it mounted high. Now I'm going to take this and put it around and slope it down. I don't want to spread down, put the dirt over it, but once I get this around it, then I'll spread it out. And basically, that's how I do all of my mounds. Let me get my tractor out of the way. Okay, so as you can see, I have my square hole with chips on the bottom, a little bit over 1 foot, filled it up with manure. I built, using the dirt I took out, I built up this area because that's how high I want my soil. And now I'm going to rake this out and square it off and plant right there. So as you can see, I'm still planting in pure compost with chips on the bottom, which is sort of like Hugelkultur because it keeps the roots moist, it retains the moisture, and around it there's sand. And I'm only going to be growing right here in this area. I don't want to grow there, but if the pups come out, I keep removing pups because these are the banana plants that I'm going to be selling. The pups, I'm breeding pups. So when they come out and come up, they're still within the corm over here, in the manure. Even if they came up in the sand, the new pups' roots are going to be from this corm, and the corm may only get that big eventually. And if it did spread out and I wanted to plant another, I would dig another hole. But this is the vicinity that I want, so there's no sense me putting in all manure like I did around the flagpole for the Hugelkultur. That's a special project, and I did Hugelkultur because I want that always to be moist. It's not on the lake. This is on the lake, so I'm doing it a little different. So with that said, let me get a banana plant, and I'm going to plant it right here. Okay, I'm over here by my specialty banana pups. I'm going to go ahead and grab some Blue Java ice cream. Okay, so I had those on a pallet. I'm going to go ahead and take them over to their final growing spot. They should be real happy. Okay, I brought over 2 Blue Java ice cream plants, and I'm going to go ahead and plant them right over here, one at a time. So let's get going. Okay, so I want to plant my ice cream banana plant right here. Okay, I'm going to take all of my chop and drop off of the top. Got my label. Oh. And you can see some roots are coming out the bottom already, so it's definitely rooted really nicely. So let's see what it looks like. Okay, if you look right here, you can see the roots are right down here, really nice. Got plenty of them. See the roots? So when I put it in there, and let me measure, it's going to be down this deep right there. So let me dig a little bit more out. Let's see where we're at right here. Okay, I measured so when I place it down there, it's almost level with the top. It's got some nice roots right here. They're ready to start growing. Look at those roots, really healthy. Can you see that in the video? Really nice. Okay, you can see that my roots came in really nice. Now when I got these, they were only that tall and the root balls were just about like that. So I fertilized, they grew, I planted in horse manure in pots, and I fertilized with my organic compost tea. And you can tell that, look at the roots, they love it. So let me plant it. Okay, just like that. Make sure it's down in there. That looks nice. Oh. I'll put that back on top in a minute. So, okay, here's my Blue Java ice cream banana plant. And it should be happy in this location. So let me finish the planting. Okay, this is all the manure that I dug out of it. Okay, so right here, is the top of the plant that was in the pot. I don't want to cover that up with horse manure. I want the horse manure to come out level, and then I'm going to put mulch over that. So let me finish. Okay. Okay, so this is planted. Here's where the pot is, right here. So with that said, let me get some chips, and I'll put chips all on the outside of it, and then I'll go ahead and start on that one. Always want to water, compost, and put chips on. This is the chop and drop that was all the way around. I'm going to put that back around it right there. Okay, so here you go. My Blue Java ice cream banana plant. Right here. Let me go get some chips and put it all the way around. Be back at you. Okay, back with a bucket of mulch. That's chips. And I'm going to put it on top of this. Here I go. Notice that I'm putting it around and I'm leaving the part that's right at the base without any, because right up here is where I'm going to put these leaves when I chop and drop them. Plus my Mexican sunflower is going to go on there. Let me grab one and show you. Okay, here's my Mexican sunflower. I just broke one off. I'm going to strip the leaves off like this. And do chop and drop all the way around the base of it. And I'm going to pile it about that high once I'm done. Now the chips always look a little darker when I take it off the pile. It's been raining, it's moist, it's wet, it's damp. When the sun dries it out, this is all going to look like fresh chips. Okay, so as you can see, I have about a foot high of chips. I'm going to finish that whole bucket around this. That's a yard bucket, and it was a heaping bucket, and that's all the way around. I left the inside so I can put more chop and drop, and that's where I'm going to water and fertilize with compost tea in a little bit. But for right now, I'm going to straighten up this area. Now eventually this will turn into dirt, and that's how high this whole bed all the way around is going to be, because this is going to turn into good organic compost as time goes by. And then I'll put more fresh chips and more fresh chips. Now we're in September. October, November, December, January, February, those are cooler off months, and maybe even frost. If frost was coming, I would cover this plant all the way up to here in chips for the frost period, and then take it back away, and that will protect it. Okay, so here you have it, my Blue Java ice cream banana plant. I dug a deep hole. I put about a foot of fresh chips in there. Then I filled it all the way up with composted horse manure. I went ahead and planted this in the center of it, and I added chips all the way around it. Now I'm going to go ahead and fertilize with compost tea and water it in. Okay, for those of you that watch my videos already know that all my water comes from a shallow well water, so it's not city, and I usually take the bucket and put the lake water on my plants, but for this video I'm using well water. I'm going to go ahead and just leave this right here. I'm going to let that get watered till that big square hole fills up and the water comes up out of it. And I just got a bucket of compost tea that I made. It's filled up to about there. I'm going to fill it all the way up with water, and then I'm going to go ahead and pour it on there in a minute. But for now, I'm going to water this really well. You can see the water coming out right here. I'm just going to let it go ahead and get watered in really good. And the water is definitely going down, because look, I got this here going all the way down. See it? So I'm watering from the bottom up. See, it went from the bottom, and look, it's coming up and going around from the bottom of the hole up. Can you see that? I have this all the way in the hole, down to the bottom, and the water's down at the bottom of this hole I dug coming up and watering down in. So it's definitely getting good water coverage. You can see some sand. See the sand came out? And you know that sand was all the way down the bottom. So I'll just wash it in. Bury that hole again, just like that. Now I'm going to fill this bucket up of compost tea right here. I'm going to fill it up and pour it on. Okay, but first let me shut off my well pump. Otherwise this will flood the area. Okay, I shut off my pump. Now I'm over here. This is compost tea. And I'm only going to put in maybe half of this. That's a lot of fertilizer, but it's not going to burn the plant. It's going to love it. Okay, there you have it. I'm done. Dug a hole. Added chips up about a foot. Put the horse manure in it all the way on up, even a foot over the ground to grade. Dug and planted my Blue Java banana plant. put the chips all the way around it to retain moisture and also to turn into compost over time. I went ahead and watered all the way down deep root, filled up the hole to the top, and added compost tea that I make from Mexican sunflower. And for the life of this plant, it's going to get my compost tea. And it's going to go ahead and get chop and drop pretty much every week. In the beginning, twice a week. Okay, so with that said, there it is. That is how I plant all my banana plants in a normal fashion. The Hugelkultur ones, I'm doing different out there by the flagpole, but the remainder around the lake or the pond goes like this because it's going to have a constant supply of water. The ones that are all around the yard are only going to have water when it rains or if I water it. So I want the Hugelkultur method to keep it nice and moist. But for this video, that's how I plant all my banana plants. Now, I'm done for the day, but I'm going to go ahead and plant banana plants all the way around here, one at a time. I may get to this one here in a little bit, but I'm going to go take a break and drink some water and stuff. So until then, back at you. Okay, right here is I'm going to plant my second banana plant. Up to here. Okay, that's 2.5 feet. Okay, I got this dug nice. Let me show you what the inside looks like. That's what the hole looks like. Got some water leaching in, and I'm going to go ahead and get compost and put it right up to about there. That's a little bit over a foot will be in there, and then the rest is going to be manure. It's already filling up with water, but I got a bucket. That's a yard bucket of chips. Let me go ahead and start putting it in. Okay, this is filled up good enough with chips, so let me go get some composted manure. Okay, I got a overflowing yard bucket of manure, so it's actually like 1.25 yards. I'm going to go ahead and put it over these chips. Okay, I got to move my tractor. Well, it's getting hot quick out, I'll tell you that. Ooh, pack it down a little bit. All I'm doing here is trying to get it a little level. Whew. Okay, it's going to contour around and continue that way. I got the chips in the bottom of the hole, a little bit over a foot deep. Got all the horse manure in there, all the way up. Came up a little bit above it. Now I'm going to dig out. That will put more above it. Then I'm going to plant that ice cream banana right here. Okay, so I'm going to take out the chop and drop over here and save it. Oh, let's go ahead and see what this looks like. Okay, so if you can see, my root system looks pretty good right here. Okay, so as you can see, my root system, they grew in really nice. Now I'm going to go and measure from the bottom of this to the top of this and make sure when I plant it that it's about even, and that's looking pretty good there. Going to take out one little scoop over here. Okay, now I'm going to plant this. Remember, this is the same thickness as that, height. So let's go ahead and put this in here. And pretty much this height is the same as that. It's got to come up about 2 inches. So I'll take it back out. Okay, so I took this back out. And I added in about 2 inches because I want this to the top. I don't want it below. Now I'm going to put that in. And basically, there you go. This is right at the top there. I'm going to put just a little bit more under this side. That looks good. Okay, so I have this level with the ground. Now I'm going to go ahead and backfill it. Okay, the screw came out of my rake, so I'm going to improvise. Going to use this tool right here. Okay, so let me find the bottom over here. Okay, that's the plant. Now I'm going to pull this away. Okay, this right here is the top. So let me go ahead and smooth this out. Okay, so that smoothed it out really nice. I'm going to put some of that chop and drop back on it. Once again, once this is all mulched up, I'm going to take Mexican sunflower like this, and I'm going to chop and drop it, do it up nice and high. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and get some chips to put some chips on there. Then I'm going to water and put compost tea on it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put chips all the way around it, then water and fertilize. Okay, so this is my second Blue Java ice cream banana plant that I planted this morning. I planted that one and this one. My metal rake busted, so I'm going to have to go purchase a new one. So this is all I'm going to do for today, and then I'll go ahead and straighten out this area. But for now, let me go ahead and water and fertilize. Okay, so this is well water, shallow well, 45 foot. It's sulfur water. Or I water with the pond. I don't use household water with chlorine in it. So I'm going to water this one the same as that. I'm going to put it in the ground. And I'm going to get it to go all the way down. It's going to push all the way down. Now sand's coming out because I'm down into the sand. You can see sand coming out. So all that water is going to come out on top and fill up this hole. I'm all the way down in that sand. That's why sand's coming out. So I'm going to lift it up a little bit. Okay, so with that said, I got half a bucket of compost tea. I used the other half over there. Now I'm going to go ahead and pour this in here. That's going to go ahead and wash down in there. That's it. This Blue Java ice cream plant is planted. Dug a deep hole. Put about a foot or so of chips in there, filled it up with manure, dug a hole and planted it. Then I went ahead and got it to the grade I want and put the chips all the way around it. I watered it and fertilized it. It's sucking all that in now. It's going to be a happy plant. It's going to love its new home. Right by the pond. The roots are going to go down, suck up all that water. Happy plant. Okay, I went ahead and planted 1 and 2 of my Blue Java ice cream banana plants. So now let me tell you a little bit about them. Okay, so this is a Blue Java. They call it ice cream banana plant. Some say it tastes like an ice cream, and some say that it's blue. Well, not exactly. The reason why they call it ice cream banana is because the inside texture when you eat it is similar to ice cream. It does have a good flavor and a taste though. And as far as the bananas being blue, well, that's a little half truth because they're green just like any other banana and they turn yellow when they're ripe. But when they're green, they get a little bit of a bluish film on it. And it's that film, it's like a dust, it's a little film that has a little bluish tint if you look at it the proper way. But in no means is it going to be a Blue Java. It's going to be a Blue Java plant in name, but not the color. An ice cream banana is not going to taste like vanilla ice cream. Instead, it's going to have an ice cream texture when you eat it. It's going to be firm, creamy, soft, and delicious. The ice cream banana plant gets pretty tall and gets a lot of bananas on it, just like all your other variety of bananas. A lot of bananas taste delicious, as this one does. Some of them, not so much. The good variety banana plants that grow in Florida have little seeds in it that you can hardly see, sort of like the ones in the grocery store. You have to watch. There's other varieties of bananas that got big seeds in it. Who wants to eat those? So anyway, I only grow banana plants that I enjoy eating, and this is how I plant. All my banana plants are nice and healthy because I plant them by the pond, or I use the Hugelkultur method. I give them a lot of water. I plant them in manure, composted manure, and I give them a lot of compost tea, which I make out of Mexican sunflower and comfrey Bakken 14. This is going to be a very happy banana plant. So anyway, till next time, back at you.